wanted to welcome Alyson Dias. She is for those of you who don't know, she's the Marketing Communications Director for iLoveToCreate. So Alyson is a whiz on Facebook and has offered to share all of her valuable knowledge with you all. So welcome, Alyson.
Good morning. It feels weird to not be able to actually talk to everybody, because for those of you that know me, I love to actually talk to people and with people, but I'm just sitting here in my office this morning all alone, but I'm very excited to be here. So are we ready, Laura?
Absolutely. I'll let you take it away.
Okay, perfect. Well, I just wanted to give a quick little here's who I am type of spiel. The humorous part of this is that I personally don't have any social media channels that I use except for LinkedIn, but I do know a lot about all of them. And so I'm going to share that today. I have been with iLoveToCreate, Duncan Enterprises company, for 12 years. And for the majority of the time, I have been doing marketing communications. But when I started, we did not have Facebook or any of the other social channels. They weren't around yet. So this is something that I've learned throughout the years, and I'm excited to share what I do know. I don't know everything, and if I don't know something today and you have a question, I'll go find out and I'll get back to you. So please ask questions along the way. I'd prefer to do that so that you don't forget your question. And then if there are additional questions, I'm happy to stay a couple minutes over and answer those. So we'll get into it this morning. We're going to be talking about Facebook, paid promotions on Facebook. For some of you, you know you can also do paid promotions on Twitter and Pinterest and YouTube. I also know that Instagram will be opening up its doors very shortly, and I believe that that will be run through Facebook. So that'll be another opportunity, but I'm going to share the basics in 30 minutes. So if you are coming in here today to try to learn the advanced metrics, that's not what I'm going to be reviewing, because that would definitely take more than 30 minutes. So we'll start with the basics. Okay, so before I can even get into kind of the logistics of Facebook advertising, I really needed to start with kind of the basics of marketing, because if you don't have good content, you are never going to have success with paid promotions. You cannot take a bad Facebook post and get success simply by throwing money at it. It just doesn't work that way. So I encourage you to take this little statement that I have that someone very wise gave to me many, many years ago, and it's called the convince that because statement. For you guys, I added in the word to, because I think you have a lot more action in that way in your studios. So I thought about some of the advertising setups that you might want to create, and I thought, man, a lot of you probably want to convince people to host a birthday party at my studio. Again, I wish there were hands, because I bet all of your hands would go up. Yes, I want to get people into my studio for a birthday party. Well, the problem with this statement, and it's not even filled out all the way, but the problem is with one single word, and that is the word people. When it comes to Facebook paid promotions, people is not targeted enough. And if you don't have that single word more clearly defined, one, you're not going to be able to create the right content, but you're also not going to be able to pick the right targeting metrics that you'll see in a minute. So better than this current statement is this one: convince moms with children ages 6 to 13 to host a birthday party at my studio. You really have to think about how specific of a person are you trying to reach. And I even encourage you to name that person. Figure out who she is that already comes into your studio and start to model this after an actual real live person, because it will help you figure her out and discover her habits. Okay, so now we're missing the because. And And Laura warned me that there's a little bit of a lag. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So convince people to host a birthday party at my studio because, well, one, you could say it's a great creative experience, and it is. Your studios offer one of the greatest creative experiences. But how do you clearly articulate that, mainly via an image or a video? That's going to be a really hard challenge. So just in the same way that we wanted to highly target the people in this case, we also need to highly target what we're trying to convince them of. And so one of those things could be it's hassle-free for mom. And if you were to jump on the it's hassle-free for mom as your identifying statement, you could have an image of your studio staff holding all the elements of the party, okay? So as you're developing this, you have to be thinking about what that end image might be. I think one of the best things you could show, though, is it keeps mom's house clean. I'm sure you've heard people say that they're coming to your studio because they don't want to have a messy party at their house, so they'd rather bring the mess to yours. And while I know that that's unfortunate for your studio, that's the reality. So in that case, your image that you're going to end up using on paid promotions could be an image of children painting in your studio, and you think of a creative headline like, free cleanup included at all birthday parties. Book your child's next birthday party at AlysonPYOP.com today. I hope this is making sense. Please stop me or ask a question. I do see that Miriam can't hear anything. So, Laura, I don't know if that's on my end or if that's a technical issue. Could somebody else? Go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and I'll message Miriam here.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure. Is there anyone else? Okay, Deborah, there we go.
Deborah can hear. Okay.
Well, I'll message Miriam right now and take care of that. Thanks.
Okay, cool. I will keep rolling. So basically that convince that because statement is your who, what, and your why. I want to encourage you, don't worry about the when, the where, and the how. That is information that you need to leave on your website and link to that information. But trying to stuff all of that into a Facebook post, especially when you're trying to advertise and do paid promotions, it's too much information. So just focus on the who, the what, and the why. The who is the convince, the what is the that, and the why is because. So if you're confused, just go back to who, what, and why. Okay. I want to stop for just a sec in case anybody is confused at this point or needs any clarification. Are there any questions just on the Little Marketing 101? And I'll give you like 30 seconds to type in a question.
It's Lauren, and I'm the only other person that has the ability to chat with you. But I think that's really...
No, I know.
I was
going to have them type the questions.
Yeah, I just want to tell you that I think it's really important as someone who has a marketing degree and markets for a living and has marketed her own business in the past, that's me, that putting a real face with somebody, with your customer, like really drilling down past, just a generic general thing, I think that's a great idea and a good reminder.
Yeah, I do it here. When we're trying to develop a campaign or a set of content for the end consumer, if you think of it just in terms of groups of people at a very high level, you can't get into the intricacies of how they think and what causes them to react. But if you can think about, hey, you know what, I'm trying to connect with someone just like my friend Susie, you can start to think about, well, what makes Susie tick? What would make Susie come into my studio if I started to talk to her? And so if you can relate it on a very personal level to either someone you know or a current customer that you have, or even create a profile of your customer, that's going to help you immensely. So Moving on, now we have two types of promotions within Facebook. There's something called a boost, and I'm sure you have all seen this within your own Facebook profile. And there's also something called targeting, and that's just what I call it. It really is just called advertising, but I use the word targeting. Today we are only going to focus on boost. It would just we only have 30 minutes, so I had to choose something to focus on. And boost is the easiest thing to get started with. The way I look at the difference between these two, boost is typically you're going to post something onto your page just like you would any day of the week. And instead of leaving it as an organic post, meaning it's just sitting out there and you hope you get some likes, when you boost it, you are telling Facebook, this post is more important and I need more people to see it. Okay, you can boost every single one of your posts if you want, but I don't think that that's very wise. You know, we don't all have every one of our Facebook posts be a complete gem and worthy of boosting. So boosting is pretty much promoting the content that's already posted to your page. And at iLoveToCreate, we use the boost to get more of our current fan base to view a post. So that's how we use it, and we've been very successful, and I'm going to show you a couple examples. Targeting, which is through the Ad Manager portal of Facebook, that's typically what you're going to use to promote content outside of your page. So those are the sponsored posts that you see. Sometimes if you look through your Facebook feed, you'll see a tiny little word that says sponsored, and that means that they've gone through the advertising portal. At iLoveToCreate, we typically use that section of advertising to go get new consumers to view a post outside of our current fan base. And so we can set up what we call a lookalike that says, hey, I want you to go find people that are just like the iLoveToCreate.com fans, but not our fans. And so we're reaching outside. You can actually use both of these promotion types at the same time, and we also do that here. It's interesting to measure their success alongside each other, and sometimes you'll see a big variation based on how you've changed up the targeting. So again, today we're going to focus just on the boost, so promoting content that's already on your page. So the construction of the post itself is incredibly important, and this is something that I have really focused on in, I'd say, the past 6 months here on our channels. And we've learned a lot, and so I'm going to share a couple of those secrets. The first thing is the headline. And I used to think, well, who's reading the headline? No one cares. I was very wrong. The headline is just incredibly important. And so again, one little trick that we found is called clickbait, and it's where you are giving people a reason to watch your video, a reason to click your link, not giving them the full story in that headline. But you do need to keep it to one, at the very most, 2 sentences, very short and sweet, and very consolidated. Secondly is a link. Let's just say you do post a video, not a still image, there will be a link at the end of the video, but chances are most people are not going to watch to the end of your video to get that link. And so it is incredibly important to provide a link within the headline that the consumer can click on at any moment in time. Lastly is the image itself, and I alluded to it earlier. You cannot get success with a bad image, whether that is a still image or video image. I realize a lot of you are thinking, oh my gosh, do I have to do video? I strongly suggest it. Video performs immensely better than still images. I mean, the ratio is just insane of how much better video performs over still images. But still images can still be used very successfully on Facebook advertising. It just has to be a killer image. If you do use video, you can actually select the image that the consumer sees. So when you set this up, Facebook will automatically pull a screenshot out of the video, but that may not be the best image to use, and so you can go in and change up that image. So what you're seeing on the screen is an example of the exact same video content. So if you were to click and watch this video, which happens to be about the Aleen's Ultimate Adhesive, it's the same video. But if you look down below, the statistics are drastically different. And so there's a couple of things that we did to test both versions. So one, as you can see, we created two different headlines. Obviously, one is much more intriguing than the other. On the mug image, though, we left out the headline. And what we ended up seeing is that there was no link for them to click on, so they actually had to watch the entire video in order to get over to our website. Now, fortunately, we picked a stellar image, and that image actually got people to watch the video. Usually what you would have seen in this example is that the image of them at the kitchen table got more links because the link was in the headline. But the numbers below, you can see we went from a 900,000 reach to 110,000 reach. So a drastic difference, but the same video content. And so it just shows you have to be very strategic in how you're setting up the construction of your post. So how do you do that? So this is where you need to come back to getting that convince that because statement so right on, okay? So, oh, and I see one of my little circles is randomly in the center of the page. That has no purpose there. But here is a Dunkin' post that we're working on, and you can see, and let me use a little technology here. You can see right here, there's a little boost button. I'm sure you've all seen that before. So you would go ahead and click that, and this screen right here would pop up, okay? And you're going to start with your audience. So you can choose three different variables here. One is people who like your page. So this is your current fan base. Now, for some of you, you may have a pretty small fan base, and so boosting isn't going to yield you that many more results. You, again, have to think about how many people are you truly trying to reach. You can also try people who like your page and their friends, assuming that their friends are probably very similar interests. You can also do people you choose through targeting, and I do suggest doing this. So then what you'll do is Facebook comes up with this default audience right here, and you can click this Edit Audience, and another little screen pops up. And so you can end up calling this audience whatever you choose to call it. You can pick the country. For the majority of you, that'll be the United States. You can pick the age range. So again, we go back to if we're trying to target moms with children aged 6 to 13, you can pretty much figure out what age range that is going to be and go ahead and put that in. If you are really just trying to reach anybody and everybody, you can leave that at the lowest you can go is 13, the highest you can go is 65 plus. But I encourage you to narrow that focus in and be really strategic on who you're trying to reach. You can try to reach men and women or just one or the other. And then this is the interest, and this is the most difficult part because this is where you have to get inside of the heads of the consumers you're trying to reach. What is it that will intrigue them? What are their hobbies? What are the things that they are interested in doing in life that have anything to do with, in this case, hosting a birthday party? Okay, and this is how Facebook's going to go through its algorithms to find people to send this post to. So you can put as many words as you want in here. and it will start to find the right match of people. There is no secret to this. I cannot give you any additional formula. It just takes a lot of thought and time to think of all of the keywords that people might be searching for. Okay? You hit save, and that's going to save all in here. You come down to your budget. You can do any amount of money you want. The lowest I would ever suggest doing for a boost post is $25. Please know we at iLoveToCreate use $25 all the time, and we have incredible success. So you do not have to be shelling out hundreds of dollars on a single boosted post to make something happen. And in your case, because you are going to be dealing with probably smaller number of people, $25 can potentially go a very long way. So you can see right down here, it'll show you for every, I hope you guys see where that is, for every amount of budget, it'll show you about how many people you can potentially reach on Facebook in addition to your organic reach. So for $50 on this post, I could be reaching up to 21,000 people with my mention. You can pick the duration, 1 day, 7 days, 14 days, or you can enter a run out date. And what that'll do is it'll just evenly divide your total budget amongst all of those days. So if you just want to do 1 day, you're going to spend $50 in 1 day. If you do 7 days, they're going to do $50 divided by 7 days. Just a side note, the other type of promotion that I showed you guys a second ago, that you can actually tell it how much you want to advertise each day. So there is a lot more functionality with the Ad Manager portal. But I just wanted to keep it to the basics today. Then you put in your credit card information and you let it do its thing. The other thing you can do, just in case you're not sure who your consumer base is and you're needing some help on targeting, when you go log into your account, you can come up here to Insights, click that button. This little menu will pop up to the left-hand side, and if you click People, this screen here will show up. And this gives you a snapshot of who your Facebook fans are. Okay, now these are not ours because obviously that's confidential information, and so I went and picked some company out of, it appears, South Africa. So don't get confused. This is not the Duncan page or the iLoveToCreate page of statistics, but it'll show you your percentage. And sometimes you might end up being really surprised who your actual fan base is and what ages they are. It's a mix that sometimes you won't expect, and you can choose to aim to change that over time, or you can play into who is currently visiting. Okay, so again, think back to that statement, convince moms with children under 13 to host a birthday party at my studio because it keeps mom's house clean. You have to keep sight of that original statement all throughout this process because it's leading you to pick all of these different targeting options to narrow in to find this mom, this specific person. And if you leave all of this too ambiguous, you're not going to reach the person you want, and this image over here becomes useless to a wide variety of people. Okay, so results. I thought I'd just share with you some of our results that we've had lately, and this is the amount of information you get back when you boost or pay to promote a post through Facebook. It's incredible the amount of information you get. So if you do a video, you get an additional screen that shows you audience retention. So you can see at what point, how many seconds in did you start to lose people from watching. And then you see, okay, at this point it levels off. And then, oh, wow, our end screen was way too long because they lost interest. So you see all of these metrics. You see that on a 29-second video, The average view duration was 21 seconds. You can see that you reached 82,000 people. You can see that you had 26,000 video views, and 12,000 of them were 30-second views. You can just get an incredible amount of information, all that for $24.99, $25. And not only were we able to reach, 40-some thousand people with this single piece of content, but we were able to get back this incredible information to help us better our posts in the future. So you have to not only create a stellar post, you have to learn from each one of them as to what works and what doesn't. So again, I hope you're tracking along with this. This gets into the nitty-gritty. I tend to focus just on this right here. This is your engagement. So these two numbers, you got 26,000 people who watched the video, and you got almost 15,000 of them to like, comment, or share. That is a golden number. That means those are people that chose to do something with your content. That is what you dream of. And then also almost 5,000 people clicked on the post link in some way. So again, you're thinking, gosh, Alyson, you just showed me a bunch of video, and you said video is the most important thing, but I don't have the means to create video. Have no fear. There's this really cool app called Flipagram. I don't know if anybody's heard of it or used it, but Flipagram allows you to take still images and create a video. And we do this every day of the week. This is maybe a little secret that maybe I'm telling you all too much, but I really wanted to set you up for success. And so, again, you still have to have amazing quality photographs, but for many of you, photos will be a lot easier to achieve than video. And so you can set that all to music. And I swear to you, I tested it out this week, and it literally took me about 3 minutes to collect a few images off of my phone, choose the music, set it to the music, and it was ready to publish. And so it's not a huge time investment to actually create video content, but it will be so much more successful for you in paid promotion. So if you haven't played around with it, I encourage you to do so. It is a free app. You just have to load it through the App Store. I know it's available for iPhone. I assume it's available for some of the other phones out there. But it is an incredible tool, and it is so easy to use. So it's $9.29, and that was warp speed on how to boost a post. I'm sure there are questions, so please start entering them into the chat board, and I will do my best to answer them.
Awesome. Great information. Thank you very much, Alyson. All right. If you have questions, which I'm sure you do, you can post them here in the chat section. And it was pretty warp speed, but like I said, it may take a little bit to digest. And then I'm sure people will have questions. And Alyson's email address and her phone number are up on the screen. And Valerie just said, great job, Alyson. And thank you. So if they have some questions, they can contact you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I certainly, can't set it all up for you, but I am happy to go over a section or two if there was just something that didn't, jive right for you, or if you're getting stuck for whatever reason. So please don't hesitate to actually reach out to me. That's my phone number and my email, and I would just really be happy to help you get started on this. It's something that I do this now every day. If I'm not working on the targeting portion of it, I'm working on the statistics portion of it. And so I'm learning every day. This is an incredible journey. In college, I hated statistics. It's probably the one class that I almost failed. But I now love it because the metrics that you get to see within Facebook and the way they've made it so user-friendly makes it incredibly addictive to engage with. So I think that if you guys all give it a chance, you really will have a lot of fun with it while you're learning and exploring the opportunity.
And there's so many ways you can do. I mean, your budget's so low to test some things and to really get comfortable.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned that. You can put out $25. You could put out $100. If it doesn't perform, Facebook doesn't keep your money. So you truly are only paying for the performance and the engagement. So you could go in after a day. Let's say you set up a 7-day campaign for $25, and you go in day one and it's just not working, which, believe me, guys, I have had happen. Like, not every post is stellar. Not every single one of them ends up performing. You can just go turn it off and save, your remaining $22 and put it towards the next post. So it's really set up to be no fail. You really can't lose at this because you're only paying per successful engagement. I can't believe nobody has a question. I'm going to start calling people out. There's got to be a single question.
Because you rocked it. All right. Well, then we're going to close out here. And like I said, there's a few housekeeping things here. Wanted to let you know there's a brief survey at the end. It's 2 questions. Please just take a minute to fill that out. It really helps us determine what your needs are as members and what you would like to see in the way of future webinars. And the presentation is already on our website, and the webinar recording will be on later. I will send you a link later this afternoon. So, and Alyson, we just want to thank you very much. I mean, this is great, helpful. It helps break it down and give us a little more insight on it. And so thank you for joining us and for presenting today. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the support of Duncan and iLoveToCreate as well. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I look forward to hearing from some of you.
All right, great. Well, we're going to stop the recording now and end the conversation. So just wanted to
thank you.